documents website.
The 1,200 documents cover incidents from 1965 to 1985. They describe actual or suspected sexual abuse by volunteers or troop leaders. John Anderson says he was molested by a scoutmaster beginning in 1976 when he was 14.
And this happened 35 years ago, and I did not understand how it affected my behavior. I would say, I'm fine. When I first went into counseling, counselor said, well, how are you doing with this? And I said, oh, I'm fine.
And what did you figure out later?
That I wasn't. That I had all this guilt, that I felt that I was responsible.
A 1965 file shows a Louisiana mother complained to a local sheriff that a scoutmaster had raped one of her sons and molested 2 others. The man confessed, but neither police nor the scouts pursued the charges, according to the files, to save the name of scouting. The Boy Scouts of America now claims to have some of the best protection among youth groups in the country, with criminal background checks, training programs, and mandates to report actual or suspected abuse. Boy Scouts of America President Wayne Perry had this to say in an interview this week.
To the extent that we fell short of protecting a youth, and we did fall short in some instances, we're profoundly sorry. And our job is to protect every youth. It's not enough to say we did a great job most of the time. We have to be a great job all the time.
Harry says the files are valuable because they're used to keep track of people who violated the Boy Scouts membership standards.
The only purpose of these files is to keep people out, to keep them from re-entering Boy Scouts later on, and the files showed that worked.
But the files didn't always work. In 1966, an Indiana member of the Scouts was found guilty of sodomy and served 2 years in a reformatory. In 1978, he was let back into the Scouts on probationary status, where he was a member for 8 years. Anderson says a file on his abuser wasn't opened until years later.
What does the release of these files mean to you?
I think it shows that this country needs to do a better job of protecting its children. If we don't set up the protection for these kids, they're doomed.
The Boy Scouts issued a statement before these files were released, further apologizing and saying that in certain cases, our response to the incidents and our efforts to protect youth were clearly insufficient, inappropriate, or wrong. But since the files have been kept secret for so long, many offenders can no longer be prosecuted. The statute of limitations in many cases has run. Anna Werner, CBS News, Portland.